My approval rating's at an all-time low. I need all of you black people to go down to Virginia and vote Democrat so that we can maintain our power base.
Why should we go down and vote for you? You said you couldn't give us anything except a foot square dead in our ass.
Well, don't you want to see the Democratic Party stay in power? I mean, we helped you out in the 60s.
Well, you ain't helping us out now. When it comes down to you Democrats, you take black people for granted. And the whole thing is, you sitting up here talking about you want black votes, but you don't want to give black people tangibles.
Well, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
And if I don't get tangibles, you ain't nothing but a white supremacist. Get on out of here. Remember, Black America, Joker Joe went out here and told you he couldn't do nothing for you after the 2020 election. And he can give Afghans tangibles, but he ain't giving you none. So let him get his votes from them Afghans and the Mexicans, and let us get tangibles. If they ain't giving us tangibles, they don't get a black vote.
Coming to paperback and e-readers this April, Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door must take on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess in paperback and e-readers this April. Guess who decided to slither back to the black community? Jim Crow Joker Joe Biden. Now, back in December of 2020, after winning the presidential election, your Joker Joe Biden decided to give the black community his interpretation of a punchline by throwing a middle finger up in the faces of all of these so-called black civil rights leaders and your Congressional Black Caucus after they made a grand effort to help defeat the evil Orange Man and elect him to the presidency. And what your Jim Crow Joker Joe Biden did to express his contempt to all of those black voters was he went out here and told those black leaders, those black politicians who were a part of the Congressional Black Caucus, and all of those civil rights leaders that he wasn't going to do anything for the black community. Now, in a stunning reversal of fortune, over the course of the last 9 months, your Joker, Joe Biden, has reaped what he has sown, and his approval ratings have plummeted as he's had to deal with a border crisis, deal with the fall of Afghanistan, and his complete mismanagement of the COVID-19 pandemic. And as a result of him not being able to set a direction for his presidency, his approval rating is now in the low 40s and was at 38% on the Quinnipiac poll a while ago. And now that your Jim Crow Joker Joe Biden is facing an all-time low as related to his approval rating, guess what he's doing right now? He's slithering back to the black community in a desperate attempt to try to get votes for this Virginia governor. And he's doing this to try to test the waters as related to his codependent relationship with the black community. Now, your black people, in a lot of cases, especially these baby boomers and these old civil rights dinosaurs, they have a codependent relationship with the party of the left. And because they have a codependent relationship with the left, they are willing to try to take whatever abuse the left gives them, not understanding that in a political relationship, it is a business partnership. And as a business partnership, a politician is elected only if they can bring tangibles to the voting block. They are not elected because somebody is in their feelings, like those people who are a part of the baby boomers and those old civil rights dinosaurs are, because many of these people in that group of baby boomers and those people who are a part of the civil rights generation, because they have a codependent relationship with the Democratic Party, they are caught up in their emotions regarding the false history about the party going out here and fighting for black American civil rights. Now, many of the people in this group, because they believe the false narratives regarding your Lyndon Johnson signing the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, believe that this party acts in the best interest of black Americans. However, that isn't the case at all, because over the last 50 years, black American voters have not gotten any tangibles from voting straight down these tickets, and this is just, again, an insult to one of the largest voting blocs here in the United States. And it's even doubly insulting when you consider that it was the black voting bloc that went out here in record numbers and put your Joe Biden in office, because they were told that the evil orange man was such a racist. But you have to wonder how racist your Joe Biden is based on his anti-black policies, such as proposing to cut the funding to historically black colleges and universities from $30 billion to $2 billion, and the fact that he had this meeting where he expressed his contempt to your black political machine, and did this because he was so full of himself that he thought he could take the black vote for granted. Well, here's an opportunity to show your joker, Joe Biden, the true power of the black vote, because this is the man who told you to take your booty to the pole and presented you on black women on stripper poles, thinking black men were nothing but sex fiends. And again, a disrespect to the black male and female voter. And as I see it, it is time to send a message to your joker, Joe Biden, where we are no longer going to be the punchline and of his joke, and we are no longer going to be used as a fodder group while other groups get tangibles at our expense, like the Asian Americans who got the anti-Asian hate law, and non-citizens like your Mexicans and your Afghans, who are going to go out here and reap a bounty of financial benefits from the U.S. government. I mean, it's a complete insult to black American voters who are citizens of this country, foundational black Americans, that your Joe Biden will go out here and give tangibles to Afghans, but not tangibles to the black Americans who went out here and voted for him based on his false narrative that the orange man was so evil, but doesn't look at the evil that he's doing. It's like the Bible says, you need to take the knot out of your own eye before you look at the plank in another. And when I look at your Joe Biden, he's sitting here going to the black voter, talking about, you need to vote for me and the Democratic candidates, but you bring nothing of tangible value to the table to the black voter. And that is a slap in the face to every one of those black voters who went out here on November 3rd in 2020 to tell them they need to vote to save your party, when you did absolutely nothing for black people over the course of 9 months, but express contempt towards them. And even before that, by saying, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Well, if you don't give us tangibles, then you're a white supremacist, because only a white supremacist is going to go out here and take the black vote for granted, and only an arrogant white supremacist is going to sit there and believe that he is entitled to a black vote because, the evil orange man or the evil conservatives are going to go out here and do all of this stuff to black people, when you're not doing anything for black people at all. Again, a vote is something that is earned through providing tangibles and supporting an agenda, and that is something your codependent masses of the civil rights generation and the baby boomer generation need to understand, that your Gen Xers and your millennials and your Gen Z understand that we're turning this from a codependent relationship to an interdependent one. And as we turn it into an interdependent one, we are demanding tangibles in exchange for our vote, because if you don't respect us, you don't get our vote. And that is a message that more foundational black Americans need to send to your joker, Joe Biden, who again has been callous and expressing contempt for your black voters, and has the audacity to come out here and go to Virginia begging black people to vote for these leftist candidates, after he has gone out here and spent a whole year or close to a year expressing nothing but contempt for the black voter. He says he can't do anything for the black voter. So if you can't do anything for me, then I don't really need to vote for you. I mean, that's just how it works in the business world. If you cannot provide me with a product or a tangible service, then I don't go out here and give you money. And that's how it works in the business world. You don't have tangible product, you don't get money. And if you don't bring tangibles to the table, then you don't get a vote. Simple with every other community out there, such as the alphabet community, your Hispanics, your Asians, and your new Middle Eastern Afghan community. All of them are going to be talking about their agendas. And again, their agendas are all about tangibles. And the black community of foundational black Americans, we need to get on code. We need to understand that we cannot allow these politicians to continue to take us for granted, and we cannot allow them to think that they can just come into our community with impunity and believe that, oh, you're going to abuse us and then walk right back in and start asking for votes. No, it doesn't work that way with the rest of the world, and your black voters need to start understanding that if you can give this party an election, you can take elections away from them. And that's how you send a message to these parties that if you want to get the black vote, you're going to have to bring tangibles, and you're going to have to go out here and you're going to have to start taking the black vote seriously, because the black vote has been taken for granted for by too long by your black Americans, who sit there and think that, oh, they have to vote because people fought and died for the right to vote. But no, you fought and for the right to get tangibles. And the whole thing is, if this politician is not doing their job by bringing tangibles to the table that meet the standards of your agenda, then you don't have to vote for them because they are of a certain political party. Whenever somebody hires an employee and they are not performing up to standard, they have every right to fire that employee. And when it comes down to those politicians on the left, I believe it's time for black America to realize they have a right to fire these employees because they're not performing up to standard. And many of them have gotten too comfortable, and many of them have taken their positions for granted, and they have gotten to the point where they no longer take their job seriously. So we need to take these guys out of these positions that they think that they're going to have for life and send them to the unemployment line because they're not performing up to standards. So when I look at this whole situation with Joe Biden, I see it as him reaping what he sowed, later than what he sowed, and greater than what he sowed, because in December of 2020, he was filled with arrogance and hubris, talking to the black community like a child, and now he comes to the black community humble, and he wants to try to go out here, not even humble, he's coming with arrogance, thinking that he can just go back and ask for some black votes, and black people will just sit there and give it to him. But black people need to send a message that if Joe Biden doesn't give us tangibles, he's nothing but a white supremacist, and if he cannot go out here and bring tangibles to black people, then he don't deserve a black vote. Now, this video will not be monetized by YouTube because they support the left, so I'm asking everybody to donate to the Cash App so I can continue making more videos. Or if you want to help out, you can also pick up some of the books on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy on Amazon.com and other online retailers. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.